Okay, so this is the 7th game in the Handball Chess Boss series. I say 7th, apart from 2 or 3 that we won't do videos on because they were games where the opponents just lost on time after a move or two. Okay, no point in doing that. So once again with the white pieces, and not unusually for me, opening with d4. And e6 is played, which initially looks like it might be an invitation for the French defence. And knight f3, as usual for me. And bishop to b4, a really odd move. It gets a tick, it's not a blunder, and it says it's good. It's maybe a bit generous, but look at the analysis. It's saying that straight away it means white's positionally a pawn better. And why? Well, it's a check, but we don't have to give checks just because they're there. It's always a good idea to look at a check to see if it might lead to anything. But in this case, it just leads to a move that I want to play anyway, because my favorite Torre attack always ends up with the bishop coming out here and the knight going to d2. And I get to do it at the expense of gaining time against the black bishop. So bishop b4 is just a strange move. And the computer wants to put it back to e7 as well. Black keeps it here, so it maintains that pin on the pawn for what good that might do, but it also now has disconnected the bishop from the king's side, which might be a problem as we move on the game. Anyway, it's not a bad move to play there, obviously. So bishop g5, Torre attack, standard system for me, and that's one reason why the bishop going back to e7 of course would have been a better idea. I then couldn't play this because there'd have been 2 pieces attacking and only 1 defending, but it's happened now. And this move's an invitation for f6, and it's the best move. I suppose black could have played knight to f6. They had to do something because otherwise bishop takes queen is a bit of a problem. But look at the analysis already. So okay, bishop h4, as you would. And the next move for black, d6. Perfectly sensible developing move. Fine. No comment on that one. e4, well, you get a chance to take the center. You might as well do it. And this is a really nice, solid crust in the middle of the board now for white to play behind. And e5, it says inaccuracy. Well, for one thing, because you've now moved the same pawn twice in the opening, which is usually a bit of a pain. It's just a waste of time. I think the computer wanted to play, so I don't know why I'm highlighting there, wanted to drop the bishop back to b6 for some reason that I'm not quite sure I understand. But e5, yeah, this is just a waste of time. It just means that the pawn's been moved twice. Okay, so bishop c4 is perfectly good, gets a tick. And why am I doing that? Well, look at all these white squares around the black king. Computer wants to play d takes e5 as the best move. But not a huge difference between the two, really. Knight e7 develops a piece, albeit to a slightly odd square, but that's one of the downsides of playing f6 earlier on, is it's in the square that you might want to put the knight on. Queen b3, it says perfectly good move. It wanted to play a4. I think so. If you play a4, black then needs to be very, very careful, because if they neglect this bishop, what will happen is the pawn will go there, the bishop will have to go back, and then a5 will trap the bishop, the old Noah's Ark trap. But queen b3 is perfectly all right. You can see what's happening. I'm just pointing pieces at the enemy king. g5 is given as an excellent move. Knight to g6 the best, apparently, because from there it would be threatening to hassle my bishop anyway. I've got to go back. I remember when I played the game, I spent quite a bit of time looking at whether you can actually play knight to g5. And you actually can, yeah, knight takes g5 is an alternative. Oh, it's disappeared. It is an alternative that's not awful. And what I wondered was, can I play knight takes g5? So there, pawn takes, and then there's stuff going on like bishop here is check, the king has to move, bishop takes pawn, and I was wondering, do I then have bishop here? Is it enough? But it looks like I may have made the right decision to not do that. So although knight takes g5 is okay, it actually wanted me to put the bishop back. So okay, fine. Okay, G4. So black really now is just throwing pawns at me, but look at all these undeveloped pieces and this uncastled king. You just can't really be doing this. I mean, it's excellent, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like, get developed, you know. But okay, so he's kicked my knight. Knight h4 is best. We're still probably a pawn and a half ahead on the strength of the position. And now d5, just look at the change it makes. Again, black's trying to open the center of the board up with 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces at home and an uncastled king. I'll keep coming back to it. It's just an error. Did I punish it properly? Yeah, absolutely, because why not? There's 2 pieces defending and 2 pieces attacking. So if black takes first, black plays knight takes, then there's only the queen defending that square, and I've got 2 attackers. So it's basically a free pawn. Pawn takes, it doesn't like it, thinks that black should just develop the knight, but you can see now from the scores, this game is pretty much done. And the other problem, of course, with that is that this bishop is undefended, so we can fork it. So we've got check to the king, and then queen takes bishop, which we spotted. Knight ec6, but what else are you going to do, really? This is an attempt to defend the knight, defend the bishop with the knight, but it just puts the knight in danger as well. So did I punish it properly? Yeah, pawn takes, because now we're still attacking the bishop and we're threatening pawn takes pawn, which is not only check, but then pawn takes rook. It's just that one move d5 is in the whole thing, really. So pawn takes, and at this point, anything is just going to win. It says queen h5 was the best, but you know, you're plus 12. Who cares? Queen e7 gives the check. King d2, and I remember thinking, well, if I can play rook e1 in a minute, then suddenly the queen is pinned to the king, and we win a queen. Pawn takes check. Knight takes, absolutely. Queen to d7 again gives a check, but now I've got both the rooks connected to come to the middle of the board with the black king stuck in the middle. It's just yuck. And meanwhile, what did we say? There they are again. 3 undeveloped pieces and an uncastled king. So bishop a6, it just says an outright blunder. Mate in 6. I doubt very much if I found the mate in 6, did I? Oh, I did. Well, rook he1, that's the best move. I bet I didn't find the whole checkmate. King to d8. Bishop a6. Well, yeah, it's a missed win. I've missed a mate, a quick checkmate. But I mean, it's plus 22. Again, at this point, I wouldn't have been looking all that hard for mates in 3 or 4, to be honest. Knight takes, rook ad1. So yeah, we've now pinned the queen and the king. Rook to e8. Okay. Rook takes e8. I've just gone into swap pieces mode here. There was probably a checkmate there, but I just didn't look closely enough. I remember I was just, well, swap pieces, takes, win the queen, whatever. It just doesn't matter at this point. And I'll just play through the rest of the moves, really, because there's not much to see here. And oh, and in fact, at that point, that's where the opponent resigned. Yeah, so again, it's yet again strange moves in the opening. That's a strange move. That's one that's okay, and it was the best move in the position, but you just, I don't know, don't really like doing that in front of your king. And then d5 is just wrong, playing this move, opening up the position when all of these pieces are yet to get developed, and that's yet to be castled. So, okay, again, the games are going to get a lot harder, and there's definitely going to be ones that I'm going to lose. But this one was quite straightforward. All right, see you all next time.